Northmoor Observatory is a hidden gem tucked inside Donovan Park and has been part of the city of Peoria since 1955. Daniel Sun of the Peoria Astronomical Society says most people have no idea that this historical telescope is in their own backyard.
The others is that surprises me, but doesn't surprise me, is I never knew this was here. How long has it been here? And so when you tell them, they're kind of surprised.
It was the first observatory in Illinois to open its doors to the public, and it's still welcoming visitors today. The telescope was built back in 1913 for the Illinois Watch Company in Springfield. Its 9-inch refractor lens was crafted by the famous Didier, a skilled optician who crafted lenses for the renowned experiment that first measured the speed of light.
People don't realize, we hear a lot about the European watches. Actually, for the United States, with all their trains, they needed watches that were right on the mark because the train lines ran so tight, scheduled. And Springfield Watch Company was, I believe, the only watch company that the United States actually allowed to be used because they were so accurate. And they used the scope for timing. I believe it was one of the planets, Jupiter. When it went across the meridian, they could actually time it and knew exactly this is the time it is right now.
The Illinois Watch Company was bought out by Hamilton Watch Company, and when they closed, they donated the telescope to Bradley University.
It was a watchmaker, and it taught people how to build and repair watches. And when Hamilton went out, they thought Bradley would be a good place for the scope to end up. And Bradley took it apart and hid it amongst the buildings. But I've heard actually the parts of it were found in closets and whatnot. In early 1950s, Dr. Roland Van Zandt heard about it, collected the parts, and he was an engineer at Bradley. And him and some other Bradley professors started up the Peoria Astronomical Society and worked with the Peoria Park District and had this building built when this was all cornfields around here.
The rest of this story is written in the stars.
It's very long scope. It's great for planets, and that's basically what it was used for. And that's what we use it out here for, is to planet observe, because the high focal length, you can really get it on Jupiter and Saturn, which people love, and see a lot of great detail. It's something different, unique, and kind of a little bit of a hunter, seeker. I don't have go-to capability on my scope, so it's a search and find, seek and find, where's Waldo kind of effect. And I just think it's beautiful, the things you can see.
Almost 800 people visit the telescope each season and are always amazed with the stargazing.
It's like the fireworks. They really it's a wow. They really do. Like, oh, cool, that kind of excitement, not realizing it's like, oh, that's just like the picture. And I can look through this eyepiece and see it.
There are even surprises for seasoned astronomers.
And Jupiter has a lot of moons and the Great Red Spot. So Jupiter was turning and the Great Red Spot was appearing, and all of a sudden one of the moons came around and you could see the shadow. And you'll see the eclipsing shadow on Jupiter. You'll see a dark spot. And then all of a sudden a second one came up. And when it was at its perfect moment, you had Jupiter, you had the red bands of Jupiter, the great storm, red spot, was at the bottom, and the two eclipsing shadows looked like little eyeballs. It looked like a little face. So I remember that one and still talk about that.
The Peoria Astronomical Society is always looking for new members.
And when new members join up, he calls every one of them and chit-chats, letting them know what's available, what they can do, what we can do for them, and see what their interests are and how to get them more involved in that interest and guide them along. So I think that's part of it. Just like any group, you want to encourage what you love for the next generation.